You're standing in the kitchen, phone in your hand, rereading the same message for the fourth time. It's simple, 2 sentences. You already know what you want to say. You've said it in your head more than once, but your thumb won't move. Minutes pass, then more. A quiet thought slips in. Why is this so hard? It's not even a big deal. From the outside, nothing dramatic is happening. No emergency, no crisis, just a small task waiting. But inside, it feels like your system has stalled. Not because you don't care, not because you're incapable. Something in you just won't unlock. If you've been in moments like this, you know how quickly shame follows. The mind builds a case. Other people would have replied already. You're overthinking. You're making this bigger than it is. And the more you try to push through it, the heavier your body feels, like pressing the gas while the parking brake is still on. This is executive freeze. It doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it shows up in the smallest moments, replying to a message, making a call, starting a shower, putting one dish away. The task is visible. The next step is obvious, but the bridge between knowing and doing feels gone. And this is the part that matters. It isn't laziness. Laziness is indifference. Freeze usually happens when something carries weight, when there's pressure, meaning, expectation. Even if the task is small, it may feel loaded. You can want to do something and still feel unable to move toward it. That contradiction is what makes this so confusing. You care, you intend to act, and yet your body stays still. What's happening isn't about character, it's about strain. When you've been juggling too much, stress, decisions, constant thinking, emotional tension, your system gets tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, the kind that builds quietly. When that happens, even small actions can feel expensive. It's like trying to lift something light with a muscle that's already been holding weight all day. The object hasn't changed, your capacity has. What makes freeze worse is the pressure to override it. From the outside, the task looks minor, so you assume the resistance must mean something negative about you. You criticize yourself. You try to force it, but force doesn't restore energy, it drains it. Here's the shift. Initiation isn't only about discipline, it's about whether your system feels settled enough to act. When you're tense, rushed, or quietly anxious, your body doesn't prioritize action, it prioritizes safety. Safety can look like scrolling, staring, waiting, doing anything that avoids stepping into something that feels even slightly risky. Because even small tasks can carry emotional risk. Replying to a message means being seen. Making a call means hearing something you might not want to hear. Starting a project means discovering whether it's harder than you thought. None of these are dramatic dangers, but when you're already worn thin, even small exposure feels heavy. That's why freeze often shows up when you've been holding an identity for a long time. Capable, responsible, reliable. Every task becomes quiet proof of that identity, and proof requires effort. So when you hesitate, it may not be about the message itself, it may be about the pressure wrapped around it. The more you understand that freeze is a signal of strain, not a flaw, the less you fight yourself. And that softening changes things. Instead of asking, "Why can't I just do this?" you might ask, "What feels heavy about this right now?" Sometimes the answer is perfection. Sometimes it's fear of saying the wrong thing. Sometimes it's exhaustion from deciding all day. Sometimes it's just that you've been on for too long. Freeze is often accumulated fatigue disguised as procrastination. From the outside, avoidance and incapacity look similar, but internally they feel different. Avoidance feels like choice. Freeze feels like friction. If you notice tightness in your chest, if your thoughts keep looping, if you want to act but feel stuck, that's friction, and friction doesn't respond well to aggression. It responds to gentleness. When the internal voice shifts from "what's wrong with you" to "this feels heavier than it should," your body reacts. The tension drops slightly. The bracing eases. That easing may not look dramatic. It might just look like a slower breath, or putting the phone down for a second, or simply admitting, "I'm overwhelmed." That admission isn't weakness, it's clarity.
Many initiation problems aren't solved by better systems, they're eased by reducing internal threat. When a task feels emotionally dangerous, judged, evaluated, high stakes, your system resists stepping toward it. When it feels neutral, movement is easier. Neutrality begins inside. You don't need 10 new techniques. You don't need to transform your personality. You need a softer stance toward the pause. If you're frozen right now, try removing the accusation. Let the weight be information instead of evidence. Your body isn't betraying you, it's signaling strain. Sometimes movement returns not when you command it, but when you stop attacking yourself for hesitating. You are not broken because you stall. You are not incapable because you pause. You are a nervous system carrying load, and load can lighten. The next time something small feels impossibly big, remember, freeze is a sign of pressure, not stupidity. It's strain, not failure. Respond to it with curiosity instead of criticism. That quiet shift may be the first movement, even if no one else sees it.